Welcome back, everyone, to Articulating with David Barnett. My name is Sharon Locher, and with me, as always, is my co host and good buddy, David Barnett,
Thank you.
the owner, obviously, and director of the David Barnett Gallery.
Welcome.
And today we are going to discuss something a little different than we've normally covered. So, we're going to get into some
Asian art
Asian and
and Pacific Island.
Pacific Island art.
Yeah.
These are, I think, categories of art that are often overlooked. I don't know why that is. If it's just because, in some cases, especially with more ritualistic objects or ceremonial objects, there's no information about the artist available. There's just information about uh, their purpose. But they are obviously a very important part of history and a very important part of art history as well. So we kind of have a few things here that we're going to delve into from different regions. So why don't we jump on in and get started?
Okay.
Um,
Where would you like to start?
well, I thought we could start with the blessing post right here.
Okay.
The Tyrol blessing post. This is actually from Nepal. And you said it's used for
Yes.
marriages.
Yes.
Okay. It is wood carved, as you can see, and as David pointed out to me, and I can't believe I've never noticed it before because I walked past this piece a million times in the gallery, are the two figurines right here. You can actually see the bride and the groom. And they're rendered, in a very simplistic manner. But it's really kind of lovely. You have all these kind of abstract geometric carvings within the wood itself. And I'm assuming it was used somehow in the wedding ceremony.
And
Do you know this?
outside the house.
Oh, okay. So it'd be placed outside the house of the bride and groom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming to bring them
Good luck.
good luck and just harmonious marriage and
Yeah.
longevity and so forth. So, and that's the wonderful thing about a lot of these older objects is they had very specific purposes within not just, the life of the married couple, but in the community overall. Because when people got married in these communities, it was, everybody was a part of the event.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really kind of brought all the people together. And so it's just a lovely, I think, piece of history. And I love the two figures there, and then it looks like there's a piece between them. I don't know if it's supposed to represent like a platter of some sort. Um, I love the way their hands are kind of depicted. They're like these little stick figures in a sense, with triangular shapes for the torso, and it's really a very special piece. And this is from the 19th century, so you're looking at something from the 1800s.
Couple 100 years old
Yeah.
and beautifully worn
Yes.
from being out in the environment.
Yeah, the elements, you kind of have that wonderful natural feel to it. Um, yeah, I think it would be a lovely gift for newlyweds. If you
Yes.
wanted to find something unique for somebody getting married, this would make a good gift.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving right along, we have an Indonesian shadow puppet here. We've got a few items from Indonesia, but this is a shadow puppet that you were telling me.
It's called Wayang Purwa.
Yes.
It's made out of water buffalo hide and then all hand tooled. It's
Yeah.
from the 19th century.
Okay, so it's water buffalo hide and leather, and then it's hand painted, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Very detailed. I mean, these wonderfully ornate.
The sticks are missing where the puppeteer would hold these
Oh, and be able to move it.
motions.
Yeah. And one of the things I was reading when I was doing some research earlier on this, that this piece would have been used behind a screen
Correct.
as compared to our one back here,
Yeah.
which is also another form of Indonesian shadow, or excuse me, Indonesian puppet. But this one would be have been used behind a screen and is kind of just a part of traditional puppetry from that area. Um,
Yeah. So there's a kind of in layman's terms, it's kind of stories about the good guys and the bad guys. The figures that have almond-shaped eyes, the Eastern are considered the good guys, and
yeah,
those with the round eyes, that represents us. We're
we're
the
the bad
bad guys.
guys.
We're the Western.
Well, we were the bad guys,
Yeah.
especially back then, because
Hmm.
Western societies were just coming in and taking over. Um,
Right.
they felt,
Yeah.
usually because of the spread of Christianity,
Hmm.
they felt there was a religious
Yeah.
duty to go in and save these heathens from themselves, which is
Not
obviously, as we know today, just
nonsense.
nonsense and ridiculous
Foolishness.
because
But
you're destroying these,
diversity.
yeah, the diversity in these beautiful cultures that have
Yeah.
their own religious rights and beliefs that were just as and still are just as fundamental and as important as
Right.
any in Christianity. Um, but yeah, I'm just amazed at just the tiny little cutouts and all the wonderful detail,
Hmm.
especially in the headdress and the clothing. You know, you've got the little mustache, the hairpiece. Um, it's really, really unique. We have quite a few of these in the gallery. This is just one of many that David has collected over the years. Well, moving right along, since we're discussing shadow puppets, this one behind us is the Golek
Right.
puppet. They come from Java, Indonesia, and of course, this is a male. And what makes him different is, you know, he would have been used not behind the screen, the way the flat one is. He's
Yeah.
more three-dimensional. And of course, you still have the sticks to move the arms. And again, too, these we have several of these in the gallery, male and female figures.
Yeah.
Um,
These are also 19th century with the old handmade batiks.
yes, and the head is painted wood,
Hmm.
as well as the hands,
Yeah.
and then of course the cloth body. Um,
And those are called Goleks, the round ones.
yes, yes. And Golek actually means rod puppet, so it's the puppet that's on the wooden rod here. Um, they are just both of them are very traditional types of puppetry from Indonesia altogether.
Hmm.
They're kind of cool, just fun. Um, what should we jump into next?
Might as well talk about the other Indonesian pieces,
Okay,
Bride and Groom, and then we have
yes, our
the
bridal figures here.
Book of Medicine after that.
Okay, sounds good. Yes, we have these bridal bride and groom figurines behind us here. Again, also from Indonesia. They are painted wood. And these would have been placed at the foot of the bride and groom's bed. And it's basically a way to serve as protection for longevity and harmony in the marriage, and just a prosperous life together. So again, there's a lot of this symbolism through figurines, and different ceremonial and ritualistic objects, in a lot of these Eastern cultures that you see that are really, really lovely. And of course, they're three-dimensional and they have all this great detail.
I love their posture,
Yes, they've got,
sitting straight up.
yes, they're very fastidious. Their posture is just perfect. I love the hair. She's got this wonderfully decorative bun, and he has his hair back with the hat on, and just kind of sitting there, you know. going to do their job and keep that couple protected and happy in their life together.
There was a similar pair that was exhibited at the Metropolitan Museum in New York. Uh, and the New York Times did a major article on, and they showed up a pair of bride and groom figures in there.
Yeah. These are also from the 19th century.
Okay.
So we're looking at something that's, you know, a few hundred years old. And obviously we can see some of the wear over time from the paints, but you still, again, have all these great patterns and textures kind of created by their clothing, their eyes, ears, nose, mouth, the hairstyle. They're just really cool.
And then the last piece from Indonesia is this, the oldest book of medicine magic from the Toba Batak people in Sumatra.
Yes, in
Yeah.
North Sumatra. And this is from the 18th century.
The Toba Batak.
Yeah. That's the people that would have used this book. The pages itself are actually constructed from tree bark. And then the book covers are solid pieces of wood. Now, this text would have belonged to the priest within the village, and the priest was basically the second most important person below the chief. And it basically contains all the rituals and protocols for the priest. And as you can see, the text in here is a modified Sanskrit alphabet. There's also drawings of different animals.
Chickens.
And it's actually composed of 3 different parts.
Chickens.
Are they chickens?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, there seem to be a lot of chickens in here.
Yeah. So
I'm not sure.
there
Do you
could
know
be
what
cures in here
Oh, yeah.
for diseases that
Yes. It's a book of
But-
medicine and magic. So it, as I said, it's
but we haven't found anybody to translate it because there's thousands of different dialects in the archipelago and the Indonesian islands.
sure.
So
And again, it's a modified Sanskrit, so that's in itself would be a difficult language. But the 3 different sections of the book cover these topics. And the first is the art of preserving life. So that would be medicine, healing, the art of destroying life. And then the largest part of the book, which is the art of fortune telling. So that's again where the magic comes in, because magic and medicine and this culture obviously were interwoven and really considered to be one thing. Again, very unique piece.
18th century.
Yeah, 18th century. So you're looking at 1700s for this. And then the cover itself has this lovely carving in the wood.
Yeah, and all woven.
Yeah. And then the woven braid. Yeah. Very unique.
Similar.
Yes, this is kind of an idea of what you would see on the inside in terms of drawings and the text itself. You know, each one of these is going to have subtle variations because they were all handmade and you know, part of different villages. So, but just the fact that as many exist as they do, besides this one, I've seen some others online. I think that ours is the oldest one I've seen available. Some of the other ones I've seen have been more from the 19th century, about 1800s.
Yeah.
So, cool. All right. So we've covered Indonesia, and we jumped to Japan behind you,
Okay.
and Kunisada, um, Utagawa Kunisada. This is a woodblock print called Yanagibashi in Snow, and it is circa 1820s. And one of the things about Kunisada that I've always loved, he worked during the Edo period, which is a very specific time frame within Japanese history. Uh, he is known mostly for his ukiyo-e prints, which translates basically to the floating world. And that is a Japanese type of woodblock print that dealt with very specific subject matter. Um, is usually beautiful women, travel places, landscapes, kabuki actors, sumo wrestlers, erotica, kind of folk stories, histories, so kind of engulfed a lot of different subject matter. In this one, I'm assuming our subject is the beautiful woman, which again was a big part of ukiyo-e. But
These are all hand carved from blocks of cherry wood.
yes, and then inked up and printed, which again is just amazing because there's so much minute detail
Hmm.
in each one, and just the line.
I like this one because it's in the winter and it's snowing.
Yes, you don't see a lot of them with snow scenes. I've seen some where, figures are kind of running in the rain,
Hmm.
but you don't see a lot of these ones with the figures in this landscape, snowy landscape setting. I love her umbrella,
Yeah.
the way it kind of pops on the left side there. But yeah, they're really wonderful. All right, and we've got some more contemporary art with us. Do you want to talk about
Xiao
that
Ming.
piece a little bit?
This is Xiao Ming. She's a Chinese artist.
Yeah. And that piece is called Any Life of Home. And it was done in 2002. It's a mixed media piece. I find her work really interesting. She always has this mix of kind of symbolism, a little bit of representational kind of figures, but then everything is also abstracted as well. Um, so I always kind of wonder what's going on. You see a lot of animals in her work.
A lot of symbolism.
Yes, a great deal of symbolism.
She's one of 30 small ethnic groups in China.
And how did you come across her work?
So her sister married a Milwaukeean who was um, traveling in China,
Okay.
and they just stumbled into each other in a restaurant
Uh-huh.
and fell in love and got married.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she came here with her child um, to be raised in America
Hmm.
by her sister and her brother-in-law.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah. It's a huge piece, which I love. I've always been a fan of large scale
yeah.
artwork. I love the drama of it.
Yeah, the Eastern and Western influences.
Yes, I can definitely see both. I almost think of that partial kind of circular oval form in the upper left. It makes me think of some sort of like a calendar. You have the year of the rat or the year of the rabbit or goat.
Hmm.
That always brings that to mind for me. I don't know if
Definitely.
that's what
Oh
it's
yeah,
supposed to
definitely.
represent,
Right.
but that's what always comes
Yeah.
to mind.
Hmm.
And then these kind of snowmen. It always looks like a snowman like creature, like a snowman crossed with a chicken or a rooster
Mm-hmm.
in the middle there. And these just kind of random floating objects or symbols throughout it. It's like she's creating her own language. And of course, we have more of her work in the gallery as well.
Quite a few pieces.
Yes, quite a few of her pieces. And they're all just really incredible.
Mm-hmm.
All have that same interesting feel to them.
Mm-hmm. Then the next artist
Yes.
is Shinling Chao,
Yep.
who is from Taiwan, and she lives in Milwaukee.
Yes. She lives here.
She is a translator at the medical college for Chinese patients.
Oh, is that what she does?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't know if she did anything full time beyond her painting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this piece is an acrylic and colored pencil on canvas.
All her paintings are based on her feelings about her mother.
Yes, and that was actually titled In Loving Memory of Mom from 2015.
Mm-hmm. So you have the symbolism of birth, the circle,
Yes.
eggs forms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot in her work. A lot of these circular, egg-like formations. What's really interesting about her work as well is there's a lot of texture to her paintings, which really comes through in the background here. And then, of course, in the green, the little eggs of varying shapes. And there's texture as well in the brown parts. So she has this very interesting abstract style that also is coupled with the texture and as you said, these kind of homages to her mother.
There's another one that she did.
Yes, this one's called Children of Light, and that's from 2020. Again, acrylic on canvas. And as you can see, it's just primarily made up of these tiny little circles. Now, of course, there's larger ones too. And again, that paint, if you're close up to it, like I am, it's just these layers of acrylic. And the way she has placed it on the canvas is giving it that textural quality. It almost looks like it's at a cellular level to me, which I love.
Yes.
So the last piece you wanted to discuss were
a pair of bats.
Yes,
from the Pacific Islands, from New Ireland.
Which, as I was saying before, I've never even heard of New Ireland.
No, they're pretty scarce.
Pretty scarce.
Pretty rare, yeah.
And how did you come by these?
I bought them in New York about probably 40, 50 years ago.
Okay. And what is it? Do you know what their purpose is? The function of them?
I think they have to do with sexuality. You know, they're male and female bats.
Oh, okay. So you've got the both
fertility.
Okay. It's kind of a fertility
Yeah.
object of sorts.
Yeah, and they're made out of plant material,
Uh-huh.
organic, and so they're just kind of amazing.
Yeah, they are very unique. I've never, like I said, I know I've been throwing that word around a lot today, but that's kind of when you get into some of these smaller regions and the artwork or the ceremonial objects or ritualistic objects of them, it is unique, especially for us in the East. You know, we're not used to that kind of thing, so it's you know, it's really something amazing because it seems like they always have an actual symbolic object meant to bring prosperity or health or happiness or ward off sickness or negativity.
Hmm.
There's a lot of that in some of these cultures that you
Yeah.
find, and you really see, I think, through that the importance of the religious beliefs in their everyday lives.
Mm.
You know, there really is no division. The two are one, and
Yeah, dealing with life forces, birth, death, and life.
yeah, it's just for that. You know, for these cultures,
Yeah.
uh, that's natural. That's
Hmm.
just how they approach life, and it's interesting. I think being from the East and, of course, living in the time in which we do, we've gotten so far removed from that. Um, so I think it's even more important to honor these pieces and respect them and, you know, get a little education what behind their purposes, what they were meant for, because other than just being a beautiful object to look at, they had function.
Hmm.
They have purpose, and that's really what makes some of these older pieces. Again, we don't know the artists, we don't know who made them, but we do know why they made them
Hmm.
and why they were used. And the fact that so many of them survive today, I think, just continues to show how important and revered they really are and were. So
Yeah.
um, we have more to see at the gallery, and we really hope that you will come by and look at all our wonderful pieces in person. And
These are just a few of our wonderful examples.
yes, there's so much more, especially when it comes to non-Western art in the gallery. David has really amassed a very, again, I'm going to say unique, very unique and large collection of artwork and objects, sculpture, and
Yeah, the Indonesian collection I acquired when I was 15 years old. It was over 400 pieces from an estate in Sumatra.
yeah, which is crazy because
Yeah.
who is collecting artwork at that age? Oh, you were the only person I know. When I was like 14 and 15, I just wanted to hang out with my friends and like, go to the mall.
Yeah.
I wish I was collecting art.
Yeah.
But anyways, we thank you so much for tuning in, and hope to see you in the gallery.
Thanks for watching.
Bye bye.